Magical girl Lyrical Nanoha is back, but before she came back to the small screen, did you know that she was back in comic form? My name is Ayumi, and this is Maho Shoujo Manga Monday, the series where I introduce you to one of the many, many magical girl comics into current serialization in Japan, just in case anyone thought, for some reason, that the genre was dead at all, which it's not. Very much not. Today, we're talking about Magical Girl Lyrical Nanoha Exceeds. Now, you'll probably notice the TV show that has just premiered is Magical Girl Lyrical Nanoha Exceeds Gunblaze Vengeance. Yes, I have practiced that title. Exceeds will kind of set us up with the kind of new world building of this particular iteration of Nanoha, but actually will not give us any plot points that are relevant, at least as far as I know, to the TV series because they are completely separate plots within the same universe. Nanoha Takamachi is now 13 years old. She's been a magical girl for quite a few years. She's technically a junior high school student. Exceeds is the name of the United Nations agency that is involved with, trying to help keep the peace, etc., in various parts of the world and maybe beyond that as well. So, in this particular story, Nanoha and her friends are dealing with the nation of Darnassa, which has been dealing with a lot of military strife. There are some interesting things with regards to kind of robot kind and kind of half robot kind cyborg question mark, they don't use that term, and witches, which we'll get into. I mean, first of all, action scenes absolutely excellent, read it for that reason alone. Merck is a retirement village for decommissioned military robots. If you've played or watched Near Automata, it's like that. They do have a village leader known as Zeo. He's the only one that kind of looks human, to the point where you might even think he was human until he isn't. And he also has a daughter who he found about 15 years ago named Philly. And Philly is very, very special to the entire village. While she does have a kind of father figure in Zeo that she calls father, it takes a village of decommissioned military robots to raise this particular baby. Philly, now 15, has grown up to become a kind of robot doctor of sorts, and it's very, very sweet her relationship with the robots of this place. And so she doesn't see robots as anything dissimilar to people, etc. But she also is a little bit lonely and doesn't really have certain levels of human connection that she would like. But she doesn't get the chance to really express that until she meets Nanoha. Now, Nanoha, again, has gone down there to investigate things and ends up getting there just in time to stop a particularly deadly robot from trying to kill Philly. And she doesn't even know why this robot went after her. He clearly was already quite broken up in the first place. Fate and Hayate are doing their own little research tours, and that brings them all together. Nanoha's plane gets enough damage that she has to stick around the village for a little while, so that does give her the chance to really become friends with Philly and even introduce her to social media and things like that. It's in this friendship that Philly does open up to Nanoha about her desire for more human connection, particularly with her father. She knows that Zeo is not her biological father, but that doesn't really matter to her because, as far as she's concerned, he is her dad. Nanoha has very particular magical girl powers of the technological variety, which are, enough to draw attention. And Zeo notices this and tries to figure out if Nanoha is actually a witch. It is in this, test, which is a fight, of course. They get distracted and separated away from the village, and the village gets attacked by some mysterious people who are calling themselves the Cleaners. Um, and it is through this that we start to get the story of Darnassa's darkness. So these cleaners come up not just looking for this particular final witch that they just didn't quite manage to catch in the first place, but they're also looking for Zeo, who used to be the leader of this group. We have these three very, very cool villains, Lambda, Lumina, and Chiffon. And they all end up going their separate ways trying to take care of the situation. Chiffon in particular goes after Philly because that is their target. They're all convinced she is the final witch, no matter what anyone else says. Zio insists she's not involved, etc. Kate is able to get down to Merck as well to try to help out the situation, but she doesn't manage to stop Chiffon from capturing Philly. And this is where things get pretty intense because Hayate's research reveals that things are a little bit more complicated. The story of the witches and the reason why they needed to be hunted down was basically propaganda given to these cyborgs. And so while they believe it to be true, and they also believe that anyone who is friends with the witch would be brainwashed by them, They're in the wrong, unfortunately, and the witches are actually just perfectly normal women who happen to have very lovely powers. Sounds familiar. So all of this stuff turns out awakens Philly, who is, in fact, the final witch, in that she was a baby when all this stuff went down, but she actually has the last of the mercurial bloodline. Basically, this has been a big adventure, and I don't really know what's going to happen after this all settles down, but the characters are super interesting. Again, Guns Blaze Vengeance, completely different story. So I'm definitely excited to see what happens there and what the future might be for the Nanoha franchise, as it were. But that was all for this particular comic. Let me know what you want me to talk about next time around. As always, if you want to help support me in reading all of these comics, if you don't have any money, that's fine. Just share it with your friends. Let everyone know. Spread the good word along with me. But you can also send me money via Ko-fi or Throne, so be sure to try that out. Otherwise, I will see you next Monday for another comic discussion. Okay, bye!